Hello. This tutorial is intended to help faculty to choose and to deploy the college reading tests on the Townsend Press Online Learning Center. This video will assume that you've already created a faculty account and had it approved, and also have logged into the Townsend Press Learning Center and set up at least one class. You won't be able to follow the instructions in this video until you've done those things. So starting from the home screen, the only thing that we really have to do to deploy the college reading test is just to choose them as an assignment in a class. And we do that by going to Manage, Classes and Assignments, choosing a class, and I'm going to choose the sample. And right here under Assignments, in the same place that we find the labs, click Add. We're going to choose Form C for our purposes right now. And once it appears under Assignments, the students will be able to take the assessment. Now let's look at the student view for a moment, just so that we see what the students see when they log in. And for this class, this is what the students will see when they log in. This is the first screen they see. And the assessments are right here. Any other assessments will be there too, so you want to make sure that you only choose one at a time, so you make sure that the students take the correct form. Now let's go back to the home screen here so that we can see how to collect the grades. We go to Manage, Classes and Assignments, back to the class, and from this screen we can collect the scores. Now if I click the scores here, all you're going to see is just the scores for the one fake student that I did. But this is what the scores for an entire class will look like. And you can see that they're all broken down into area. Main idea, well, the key is down here. MI for main idea, VC, vocabulary and context, SE for supporting details, and so on. And those correspond to these letters up here, and I believe they're in the middle too. No, they're not in the middle for this. And you can see each individual student, how many questions they got right out of how many. So this is 7 questions out of 9, and what percentage they got. This is the raw score. This is how many questions they got right out of 40, and the percentage that corresponds to that. And if we scroll down, you get the class averages for all areas, the class average for the raw score, and the class average for the percentage. Any blank areas represent students that have not taken the test, and their names, which are normally out here to the left, will be in red. And you have to have your pop-up. The pop-up window has to be activated because it does pop up in a new tab. Now let's look at the individual scores for a student. And down here in my class roster, I see I have one student in this class, and that's my fake student, just named Reading Student. So I click on that student's name, and I have the option to look at several different kinds of scores. I want the scores for the college reading test. They look a little different. Here's a screen that you can actually, since it only has this one student's scores on them, you can actually pull up a student, and a student can look at this screen with you because it doesn't have anybody else's information on it. There's a lot that we can learn from looking at this page. Of course, we see the students' raw score and their percentage, but I think the two main most important things that we can see, or information gathering, or types of data that we can see here, are the breakdown of the skills, so we see where the students' weak areas are, and also the time that the student was working. Now there are 40 questions on the test, and there are 50 minutes in a period, so generally students tend to spend about a minute per question. The questions all have to have their long passages, several long passages, and the students are asked a series of questions about each passage. And we can see that this student only spent 1 minute and 37 seconds working. So when we see that, we know that until we solve the problem with time management and taking their time, we might as well not even work on the skills because they're not thinking about their answers. But if a student has a reasonable time here, and you could be the judge of reasonable, then we know we can start working on their weak points. We can also use their weak points to try to build, we can also use their strong points to try to build upon their weak points. Alright, that's how you deploy the college reading test and collect these scores. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to contact me.